Yo, 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 this is the Heart of the City podcast where we talk about all things love, relationship, dating, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we always going to keep it 100. Give it to you straight, no chaser. I am your host, Professor Carter. Class is now in session. Today we're going to talk about relationships, dating, but specifically from the male point of view, right? There's a word that has been floating around for years now, and I'm sure that we've all heard it, probably used it, but I want to give some context to what this actually means. That word is simp. You probably know a simp, or you have been a simp, or you are a simp. I know I have gone through stages where I've definitely simped out for different women that I've dated. And I just want to give some context as to what is meant by this word. So a simp is short for a simpleton. A simpleton is someone who doesn't really use or exercise proper thought processing when dealing with a particular subject. In this case, women. So you have a lot of men who will act simple-minded when dealing with women. And I want to give some context again into this, and we're going to break this down, right? I know a lot of married men who are 100% simps. Those who are dating that are simps, and even some of the, a lot of single men are simps, right? So we have to figure out how we even got to this point. How can a man be simple acting for a woman? This is largely due to what I would consider a process of conditioning men to be less than what they are supposed to be. And once you get into that position where you are damn near subservient or thirsty for a woman, to the point where you forget how to be a man, and then the woman loses respect for you. So I know a lot of married guys who are not respected in their household. They're not the leader of their household. And we'll get into that a little bit later. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of pushback from some married guys, but we'll talk about that. But let's just talk about from the beginning. When a man is pursuing women, this is game or things that should have been taught to you usually around like that high school age, middle school, high school age. You start interacting with women and learning how to deal with women. A lot of us, we don't have fathers in the home, unfortunately, so we learn as we go, and our first point of reference when dealing with a woman is usually dealing with our mother. But the woman that you're romantically involved with is not going to treat you, view you, or respect you the way that your mother will. A mother's love is unconditional. A woman would never love a man unconditionally. There are conditions on that love. Men, on the other hand, tend to love women unconditionally. And when you start doing that, that's when the woman loses all respect for you. You no longer hold yourself as a man. You become weak. And usually the relationship goes downhill from there, or you're miserable in your relationship. So let's talk about like how this comes about, right? When most men pursue women, right? There are different types of men. You have some men who are genetically just gifted, and women will pursue them, right? And this especially tends to happen in the high school, college years, where if you're a good-looking guy, you got swag with you, you can dress, you know how to carry yourself, and other men respect you, usually women will kind of show more interest to you. And then you have the guy who may not have hit the genetic lottery, but they hold power in some sense. They may be the head of the football team or the basketball team, or the head of the SGA if we're talking about college or high school. Women find that attractive because women are attracted to power, men in powerful positions. We see this even when it comes to politicians, pastors, and preachers. They're often caught up, unfortunately, in different scandals where women are throwing themselves at them, throwing themselves at them because of the fact that they hold a powerful position. Then you have guys who don't have the look component, they don't have the power component, but they have the nice guy component. The nice guy, and what we will probably consider the simp, this guy is just, he puts women on pedestals. He treats women the way that women often say they want to be treated. But if you notice, the nice guy usually finishes last. Case in point, I'll give an example. You have a guy, maybe in college, who, brings flowers to this girl, and he may, offer to walk her to class, take her out, do all of these things. He's constantly, texting her in the morning, good morning, and how much he misses her, and all of these things. And she's pretty much paying him no attention until the guy that she actually wants pays her no attention. Then she goes and gets that attention from the simp guy. So the nice guy winds up finishing last. And a lot of guys don't like this premise because once you get into your 30s and 40s and you start seeing a lot of married couples, you start realizing that the guy who marries the woman usually is not her first choice. So he usually takes her after she's, been with other men, maybe had children with other men. She's kind of used up, for lack of better terms, and then she settles for the nice guy. So the last type of guy I want to talk about is the trick. This guy, he can be young, he can be old. You don't even have to have a lot of money to trick, actually, which is a misconception, right? If you are a trick is someone who gets women based off of a transaction, right? So I buy you X for your time. I take you out here, and then you will accompany me. I'll fly you out, take you on a trip. The biggest thing that we see this in now is OnlyFans, right? We see women literally just create an account, put up some pictures, and then we have tricks get online, cash app them, pay them. Not even at this point, not even for personal interaction, just to be able to look at them, right? And then of course we have people that deal with prostitution and things like that. But I'll stay away from that, because if you're doing that, you just have different types of issues. You need to go to therapy. At the end of the day, no one should be paying for sex. It's free. But the simp, right? If you take the guy who, again, may not have the genetics, the looks, the power, or the status, he will usually fall into the simp category, because he thinks that by acting a certain way, then the woman will actually be attracted to him. But it's a false sense of attraction, because the woman is only doing that because she's using you. She's getting something from you. And then this is where usually, simps start to push back and say, well, hey man, you're paying for it some type of way, and I don't have time to chase women and da da da. Or they may say, well, I'm just a gentleman. But if you think about it, women are showing you now more than ever how they want to be treated and how they actually view men. So what I would suggest is, if you have women that are basically fighting for sexual liberation, they're saying that they want to deal with multiple men at the same time and they don't want to be judged for it. They're saying that they want men with that are going to spoil them or do things for them, oftentimes that they are not willing or can't do for themselves. And if you decide to do those things and you actually think, my issue is not that the fact that you're going to do that, but my thing is, understand what it is you're doing. This becomes transactional. This woman is really not attracted to you as a person. She's only attracted to the things that you do for her. And once those things stop, then she's just going to leave you. You're no longer of use to her. So is there a way that you can go from a simp to rise above that and become a guy that women actually find attractive and want to be with just for the sake of being with you? Yeah. But it takes some re-engineering of the way your outlook is on women to begin with. So men, by definition, have certain roles, right, that they are designed to play. Meaning physically, we are stronger than women. We have a more dominance than the woman does. There's nothing wrong with that. This is just biologically how we are made. So if you ever start to lose that, if you start to lose that dominance, that inner dominance inside of you, a woman has no choice but to lose respect for you, because she's not going to feel protected by you. So if you allow yourself to be treated any kind of way, if you don't have an assertiveness about you where you can actually lead and make choices and make decisions, if a woman can't see you doing that for yourself, she's never really going to want you. But what happens is, a lot of guys, we talk about women and we say, around 30 women hit the wall. Well, men hit a wall too. See, outside of school, outside of high school, outside of college, you get into what's called the real world. And you realize it's a lot like high school. It's a lot like college. You have jocks, you have the professional athletes, you have the geeks, right? You have the nerds, you have those in power, and then you have those who are just at the bottom. It's always a ranking system. And what I would suggest, and what I tell men, and what I would suggest to all men, is to focus on yourself and developing yourself before you ever focus on attracting a woman. Now, when men hit the wall, when they get to real life and they realize, you know what, hey, my body doesn't look the way it used to look when I was in high school or college. I thought I was going to be making more money at this point. You start to settle. So now you're in a position where you're settling and you're doing things that you probably wouldn't have done earlier in life to get the attention of women. The fact of the matter is, we live in a day and age where dating has changed. There's no more, you walking a girl home from school, or, you're meeting a girl out. No, she has hundreds of suitors every day in her inbox via social media. They have dating apps. So the fact of the matter is, the market is just oversaturated. And so when you realize that you really can't, the problem really is you just can't compete. If you are a bum, meaning if you're not able to take care of yourself, if you still live at home with your mom, if you can't sustain and support yourself, no woman is going to take you seriously. At least not an attractive woman that can do better. So a lot of guys just got to be honest with themselves. Like, it's not women. Women aren't the problem here in this particular scenario. It's you. If you have not evolved with the times and you don't know how to conduct yourself in the modern world, and you still think just because you're a man that women are supposed to just, flock to you or just give you some type of reverence because you're a man, those days are over. That was my grandfather's generation. If you're back in the 50s and 20s and 30s, a woman just needed a man because of the fact that they were a man. Women didn't have rights. Women couldn't work. Women couldn't have educations the way they do now. So they needed men. Now the game has changed. Women don't need men specifically for those things. So you have to be on top of those things to make sure that, hey, a woman can make her own money. A woman can, afford her own house. So those are things don't really matter as much anymore. But however, you need to at least have those things, because just going off the fact that you have a house or that you're a man, it's not going to cut it anymore. You being a man doesn't matter to women anymore. We've lost a lot of our worth. Our commodity isn't high anymore, unfortunately. And we'll get into the reasons of that at a later show. But when you resort to simping and just trying to woo a woman to like you, you will lose. And you have a lot of guys who unfortunately are in marriages where they're not even respected in their own home. They can't even live the lifestyle that they want to live without the woman. So, for example, if you make $100,000 and your wife makes $100,000, you think that you have a $200. It's okay for you to have a $200,000 lifestyle, which is fine. But then understand that because it's 50-50, you are not the head of your house. She has no reason to, give you that leader title, that assertive title that you're looking for, because at the end of the day, you couldn't be where you are without her. It once was a time where the house, the income was solely based on the man. So the woman had a certain reverence that she would give to the man. That's not the case anymore. So how do you overcome these quote unquote obstacles, right? Because a lot of guys are really having a hard time, getting women and getting the type of women that they want? How do you overcome this? Well, in this episode, I'll give you the first tip. The first tip is look yourself in the mirror and really just rank yourself. Really figure out where you are in life and be honest. If you are over the age of, I'll just say 30. Let's just start at 30. Because in your 20s, you might still be in school. You might be getting a master's degree, or you may be in law school or something like that. There still might be an excuse where you're not where you're at yet. But at 30, that's usually the cutoff. You're a grown man at 30. Society looks at you as a grown man. So look yourself in the mirror at 30 and just say, where do I rank? Where am I in life? And be honest. Are you overweight? Do you have a car? Can you support yourself? Do you have savings in the bank? Do you have a career, or are you still working jobs? Do you have a plan for your life? If a woman were to be with you, can you actually lead her to some place? Can you enrich her life? Are you smart? Have you gained any tangible skills to which you can use to create and generate income for yourself, or profits for yourself if you want to start a business? If you've just gotten to the point where you're 30 plus years of age and you've just existed and you haven't been that guy, or you haven't been hot since college or high school, you are a loser. And it's okay, because we have to start embracing that. Once you realize, in this game of life, I'm losing, then you can start to change. You can say, what do I need to do? Maybe now's not a time for me to date at all. Maybe I need to take this time and just focus on myself, get my income up, get my body together, get my mental together, because at the end of the day, it's not fair. You're unrealistic if you think that you can be of this age and be losing and then expect to have beautiful women. You can get a woman. Let's be very clear. They're loser women too. So you can get a woman, and a woman that will settle for you, or you might find a woman that's in a worse off position in life than you, and then you can, she'll be at the true bottom of the barrel. So it's better to just take time, focus on yourself, rank yourself, figure out where you are, set some tangible goals for yourself, and just kind of leave women alone for this period of time, whether that's going to be a year, 6 months, 3 months. If you need to get your credit together, if you need to get your physical appearance together, if you need to get, your swag together, do those things and then go back out on the dating market. I live in a metropolitan city, and it's very difficult out here. It's a lot of competition out here. And so if you don't have your stuff together, it will show. And then you will resort to simping. You will resort to lowering yourself to try to appease and pander to the woman, and the woman will just naturally lose respect for you. So I wanted to give some context in this, brief episode where we talk about simping. And I wanted to give some context to that because I think the word is being overused. And please believe, you could be married and still be a simp. You could be in a long-term relationship and still be a simp. And let's be honest, a lot of guys who are in these relationships, the woman does not respect them. And it's partly because of some of the things I mentioned in this video. But if you disagree, if you have a different definition to what simping is, if you think everything I said was wrong, if you agree with what I'm saying, comment, like, share the video, get the discussion started, and we'll continue this on the next episode of The Heart of the City. I am Professor Carter, and I'm out.